Last Minute Man, and we are back on the range. I'm here with my good buddy, Mr. Obvious. And what are we talking about today, Mr. Obvious?
Oh, we're going to talk about a little, I guess, demonstration on how to get up and fire this weapon.
Well, and I kind of came about this watching Kyle Rittenhouse, and actually I'm very thoroughly impressed that a 17-year-old kid had enough wherewithal. I mean, he kept his composure under an extremely stressful situation. And something he did, though, is something we trained on in the military, and that is how do you get back to your feet once you're knocked down? I mean, that's the most vulnerable situation you can be in. So the goal would be to get back to your feet as quickly as possible. Now, realize in the military, we're carrying, armor. We got our plate carriers. I've got extra magazines on me. I had a pistol strapped to my chest. My rifle was attached to a wolf hook that was actually attached to my plate carrier. But I mean, we're weighted down. When you fall geared up like that, you're like a turtle on its back. You're just flailing. It's a horrible situation to be in. So we did train on an effective way to get up. I haven't seen anything better yet. And this is nothing groundbreaking, people, but I think it's something that we should talk about. And training is important. Thinking about what would I do in these situations if something like that were to happen. And actually, have you ever considered what you would do?
Not really.
It's the unthinkable, but you have to plan and train for the worst case scenario. And we're not using an AR-15 today. The AR-15 that Mr. Obvious has, I personally don't own one, but the one he has isn't zeroed. You've got a scope on it. So I just kind of wanted to do this with, a basic rifle and just iron sights.
Yeah. So,
and again, the Mini 30 here is a great firearm, so that's what we'll be doing. But stick. All right, so what we got here is the Mini 30. I've got the magazine out of it right now, but I've got 4 rounds loaded into it. And this obviously is a lot further than you would be shooting in a defensive scenario, I would imagine. But we're going to be shooting at 50 yards here, just offhand. And I'm going to show you what we were trained on and how we were able to get up. And it's just something to think about. I'm going to take my hat off here. All right, so I'm in the shooting position. The unthinkable happens. I'm knocked off my feet. So I'm down. All right, so how do I get up as quickly as possible? Well, you can rise to here, correct? You'll see a lot of guys put their hands down. They'll do something like this to get up. What we were trained to do, simply bend your knees, come right up like so. I mean, it's pretty simple. Like I said, we're not doing anything dramatic here, but something some of you may not have thought of. I just noticed in that video, of course, he had somebody over top of him, had to fire. And, when he got back to his feet, he kind of rolled over. This, very simple. Easiest way in the world to get up. But especially if you're wearing body armor. But we'll go ahead and do this. And I'll fire 2 shots at 50 yards there. And let's see if I hit it. We ready, Mr. Obvious?
We're ready.
All right. And we're up. Get back, get back, get back, get back. I hit him twice. All right. But nice and simple. That's the way we would train. Now, something I want to point out, and it's kind of I think a design feature that I don't particularly like. Where the safety's located on these Mini 30s, it's kind of dangerous. But again, you gotta practice with what you... All right, so we are back with our after action report.
Yes, we are.
And this is going to be long-winded, folks. That was really the only action I wanted to show you today. Just something very simple. It's just, the rest of this is just going to be us talking. So spare yourself if you're not into that. But one thing I want to talk about, and I really like these firearms. I really like a Mini 30. I haven't shot these a ton. This is Mr. Obvious's firearm. But the safety on this, it's a lot like an M1A. It's the same thing, or an M14. Where the safety's at is, I could see that potentially being dangerous for somebody that's not used to it or doesn't train with it. You've actually got to come into the trigger well to take the safety off. Now, yeah, I guess you shouldn't be removing the safety till you're ready to fire anyway. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, you can see how that could be problematic. Which brings us again to saying practice, people. You got to train. You got to practice with your firearms. Reloads would be another thing. You would have to practice with it. This reloads a lot like an AK. But yeah, reloads and stuff are a must. Practice malfunctions and how to clear a malfunction. And again, I just want to brag on that kid again. Kyle Rittenhouse just kept his composure. I mean, clearing a malfunction, he talked about on that interview he did with Tucker Carlson, clearing the malfunction by hitting the forward assist. Just having the mind, to be there, sober, clear-headed, making, I guess, decisions no one wants to have to make, but he did it and actually did a good job. Nobody wants to have to go through that. But times are tough, folks, and it's getting crazier and crazier out there.
Getting nuts out there. I know, as I was growing up, back in the 60s and 70s, through the 80s and through part of the 90s, politics and the government was hardly ever mentioned on news.
Right.
It was ball games, this, that, something happening. It was mostly sports and things. And now, this day and time, all you hear, government, they're doing this, they're doing it.
Yeah.
What in the world is going on? I'm
well,
like, this,
part of it,
heard none of that growing up.
Well, part of it is a 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah.
We've got, you got CNN, Fox News, all of them, that they're 24-hour wall-to-wall news, and they got to fill the time with something. And frankly, people tune in for the negative stuff. I mean, it's easier to focus on the negative than it is on the positive. I mean, just look at in my own life, I tend to remember bad situations more than I do good situations. Good things kind of go unnoticed, under the radar. But yeah, I mean, the discord, of course, and everything going on in this country it's outlandish. I mean, I was just watching a thing on YouTube. Congresswoman Green was playing all the death threats, or not all of them, but some of the death threats she gets weekly. Gets these folks. Life's too damn short. If you're getting that fired up and calling, I disagree with people. I'm not going to call them up and threaten them. I mean, that's absolutely insane. And I commented on that, and I said basically on the right or the left, most people are not that nuts. I mean, it's, your daddy was a Democrat. He's a World War II veteran, Democrat, but had a completely different mindset than some of this stuff going on now. I mean, I don't know what he would do. He voted for Obama, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So, but I don't know the way he would vote today.
They was diehard. They thought they was for the poor man.
That's what they thought. Yeah.
And that's what they thought. And I tried to explain for them. No, they're not. They're just fooling you. When you going to learn?
Well, and
once they get them old people, when they got a mindset, you couldn't drag it out of them.
Well, I'm that way. I'm 38 years old, and I get set in my ways too. And but when you look at, well, and I don't even want to get political, but it's gotten insane in this country now. I mean, there are what I would call old school Democrats. You got Joe Manchin, who I love Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, you never hear from her. She's not a politician anymore, but yeah, I mean, gosh, that would have been a hard pick for me if she ran for president. Now, obviously, I was a Trump supporter. But I would like to see her on the VP ticket, at least with Trump. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah. Comment below, whatever you think. But yeah, I'm a pro Second Amendment, pro Constitution guy, and that's pretty much what I am. And I don't care what you do in the confines of your own home, as long as you're not hurting anybody else. Like Ted Nugent says, being the asset column. I don't care what your politics are. If you don't like firearms, that's fine. Just leave me alone, and I'll leave you alone. We're not out to bust anyone's chops or anything. But yeah, this unfortunately, with the way things are going, again, you got to be prepared, and you got to be trained, and you don't have to go spend, you know, $1,500 to take a weekend course by some guru or something. Get out and practice with your firearm. You know, shoot it, practice, pick targets. A great drill that I like to do is have somebody, I'll set up 3 targets and we'll number them, 1, 2, or 3, and have somebody just call out the number. And then you got to transition and shoot. So they'll say 3, and you shoot at 3, and then 1. You know, just have somebody do that at random. That's a good way to train. Colors is another way. You could shoot for colors, you know, but there's different things you can do to get more familiarized with your firearm, and just get out there and practice, put in the work. And you know, you don't have to be Johnny Rambo to defend yourself. Okay, you don't have to be the world's, you know, best trained, you know, soldier. You know, like I said, 17-year-old boy who was in the right, who was defending his life, and he was competent with a firearm and was able to defend himself. You know, so, and he hadn't been through any military tactical training, you know, or anything of the sort. So, you know, and like I always say, and you've probably heard me say this on some of my other videos, little old ladies have been defending their homes with 12-gauge shotguns for years.
Yep.
And, you know, you don't have to be a Green Beret to defend yourself. You don't have to be John Rambo. So, is there...
Little old ladies, most of them had just single barrel shotguns.
Yeah, they're probably more dangerous than I am. Golly. Yeah, don't mess with grandma.
Yeah.
You know. But
yeah, you can aggravate grandma pretty quick.
Oh yeah. So especially here in Kentucky, you know, people kind of don't mess around. There was a woman who had won Miss America back in the 1950s. I saw her on Jay Leno years ago, and she defended her home. She's from Kentucky, and she lived near Frankfort. Some guys broke in on her. They broke in on the wrong old lady.
Yeah.
And she pulled a shotgun on them.
Wasn't pretty.
No, but that was pretty neat, you know. And but yeah, Jay Leno had her on after that. I thought that was cool. But anyway, I digress. But folks, just get trained, have fun when you're doing it, and be safe. First and foremost, be safe. Look out for each other. Look out for yourselves, and keep your knives sharp. Keep your powder dry.
Subscribe to Last Minute Man.